Welcome to the Mortgage Podcast, where we give tactics, strategies, and inspiration to get you to 10 plus loans per month. We talk a lot about how to make a ton of money in mortgage while also being happy and thriving in your personal life. If you want to be a mortgage millionaire, you're in the right place. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Mortgage Podcast with Todd Screamit. Today, we were talking about 3 ingredients to 10 loans. Let me start by, I just got a thank you card from one of my loan officers. Todd, thank you so much for doing the JOLT process with me. My sales skills have increased a ton, which leads to more accounts, which leads to, leads and income. I've already beaten my 2021 income numbers, and I just had my first month where I made a 6-figure paycheck. I look forward to continuing to grow and always do better and better numbers. Thank you so much for your mentorship. P.S. I hit 17 units in September, and I look forward to hitting 20 loans so that you can take me to dinner. It's just a bet we have. Kind of chokes me up because that's what it's all about. This particular gentleman that wrote me that card from 9 months ago, he physically looks different. I just saw him at our loan officer retreat. He lost like 20 pounds. I grabbed him his shoulders. He's like ripped. I said, "Bud, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm so excited. I just get up at 5 a.m. and I work out now. I'm in the best shape of my life." Goes back to an old saying that I heard years ago: change the business, change the person. So I've spent all these years, 30 years running a mortgage company, being one of the top producers in the country, coaching over 5,000 loan officers, helping over 600 of them become multimillionaires. And I'm going to give you 3 keys of what it takes in order to close 10 plus loans a month. Okay? So let's break this down. The first one is one that people don't think too often of. We'll generalize this first one and say, well, I just got to work hard. I just got to make a lot of sales calls. I want you to wrap that into a bow called account acquisition. And you have to learn to master this. I was talking to one of my colleagues yesterday. We were driving to an appointment. And he said, Todd, I never occurred to me, this is a 20-year loan officer, it never occurred to me that I have to get new accounts all the time. I said, well, that's your reptile brain telling you that you're safe, but you're not. So when you talk about accounts, whether it's a home builder, whether it's a realtor, whether it's a financial planner, an investor that you work with, they're leaving you all the time. You could be the best loan officer in the world, but if I come in and tell you I'm going to pay for your Zillow for $2,000 a month, I've all of a sudden got a new best friend and he took all your loans. And we don't like to think that people are that way, but you would probably make the same decision. If you could save $2,000 a month, you would probably change. I hate to say it, but so we always need new accounts, and your number of accounts are directly correlated to your income. I have a lady, one of my loan officers, she's averaging over 20 loans a month, and she has 17 accounts. The next top producer next to her is closing 17 loans a month year to date, average, and he's got 12. So how many accounts you have correlates to how much business you close. Almost exactly. When I was doing $140 million a year, which I did for 10 years in a row, I had 2 big home builders and 12 big realtor accounts for a total of 14, but 2 of them were really big. So how big your accounts are and how many accounts you have does determine if you're going to close 10 or more loans a month. The problem is that we get 3 or 4 accounts and we think we're doing pretty good. And we think we closed 10 loans one month. We think we got it all figured out. So what do? We stop doing account acquisition. We don't do it at all. Then we lose one and we're like, I got to replace that one, but I don't get around to it. A couple months later, I lost another one. Pretty soon you got 2 accounts. Your business is in half and now you haven't replaced them. So you get back on the bandwagon, you make some calls, and we get 2 more. And we're back to closing 7 loans a month. So we're pretty happy. We're not closing 10. And we tell ourselves, you're safe again. You're safe. Todd, you did it. You lost those 2 accounts and you replaced them. You're good. Next month, you lose another one. So this vicious cycle that we go into in our business is crazy. It's crazy, though. The only way that you'll solve it is to build it up and then keep adding. That's the only way you'll ever solve it. If you do that, you will close 10 plus loans the rest of your life. However, I've only really known of one loan officer I've ever coached that is always acquiring and replacing accounts. And in this market, he'll close 500 loans. There are a handful out there. Maybe there's 20, 30, 40, 50 loan officers that know how to do that. But again,
copied the successful people. That's what they do, is a lot of account acquisition. The whole Jolt process is built on that. It's what we do, is get you a bunch of accounts. And it's, the numbers on that are odd because you got to meet with about 10 good ones to do regular business with 2. That's kind of the average math. So it's not 1 or 2 appointments to get 1. You got to do like 10 to get 2. And once you swallow that pill and you're okay with it, you're good. The second thing is leverage. I don't care who you are or what business you run. If you don't add leverage to it, it's not going to get you to the higher numbers. And leverage comes through having LOAs, loan officer assistants. It comes from having someone calls for you. Social media is a form of leverage. Having a 30,000 person email list is a form of leverage. So anything that you can do to gain sales or operational leverage is good, if you can think about it that way. If I'm just a really good loan officer and I have no leverage, I will make a living. If I take that same loan officer and I add some sales leverage and some operational leverage, then that person would double or do 40% more or triple, because the only thing you really change is you added leverage to it. And leverage is simple. I always like the crowbar analogy. So if you take a big steel crowbar and let's say you're trying to get a door open and it's locked from the inside, I can pull on the handle all I want with my 200 pounds of strength and I'm not gonna move the door. But I take a crowbar, pry it in there, get leverage, and it's gonna pop right open. Super muscle-bound man can't get the door open. I'm not saying I'm muscle-bound, by the way. I was thinking of like a bodybuilder or something like that. They can't get the door open, but the crowbar, a simple piece of metal, allows you to gain so much leverage that it's stronger than 10 men. And that's the simple concept of leverage. And I think there's a lot of emotional issues with leverage. Like, I don't want someone calling my clients. I don't want someone this. One client come up to me at our event we did a couple weeks ago, and he's like, Todd, I thought I was really good with past clients. And the appointment setter got me 36 past client appointments. I've already disclosed 7 mortgage loans from those appointments. And I probably got 3 or 4 more. I said, well, yeah, because they're calling them. He says, but I mailed to them. I know you mailed to them, but it's not enough. By adding the calls that you wouldn't do because you're too busy or don't want to do them, you're going to do 7, 8, 9 more loans. That's leverage. The last thing is operational processes. And I want to give you a few. This is a big one. Most loan officers that I have coached and had the honor of knowing, they'll tell me I'm pretty good at process, but yet they don't do a daily team meeting. They're still checking all their own emails. They don't have their LP2 in the loan consultation with them, so they get all the after calls, right? And I could go on and on. So I want you to think about it this way. Actually, to be more specific, let me give you a few things that will save you a lot of time. Number one is your assistant does all your emails. Now, there are bots that will manage your emails now as well. I have heard they're not quite good enough yet, but I could be wrong. But have someone manage your emails. You guys know 50% of emails or more, it's not even for you or someone CCing you, right? So they're sorting and sifting this. My assistant, the way I do it is she checks all my emails and she can give me 4 a day. That's just how I do it. She is totally empowered to respond to all of them. If she doesn't know how to respond, she'll ask me in my morning meeting. We have a 5-minute morning meeting. So, but get out of email. It easily can save you 2 hours a day. Or another way of saying that, it is costing you 2 hours a day. Okay, so email is one. Let's talk about a loan application process. So I met with a loan officer this week, and I said, well, the lead comes in, and I talk to him, and I'm really good at getting to know them, and I make them feel comfortable. Then I say my LP is going to call them. So she calls them, and she kind of takes an app over the phone, and then she gets all their documentation, and then they come in to meet with me. And I'm like, okay, let me get this straight. I got to talk to you, then I got to talk to her twice, and then I get to come in. Yes. Okay, that's 4 steps. Let's just make it 2. Okay, how would I do that? I said, all the calls go to your loan officer assistant, all the new leads. And he's like, oh my God, she's not that great. I said, listen, let me give you a script. I want you to record yourself doing the script. I want you to give her the script in writing. I want her to role play 30 times. He says, could that really work? I said, yes, it will. I said, let me give an example. I've taken 2 LP1s in my career personally, and they were older, right? These were older ladies. One of the ladies was named Pepper, and Pepper was a lovely lady, and she always had kind of minimum wage type jobs. So I taught her the script, and the script starts off with closing the triangle for trust. So after I role played with her, like she role played 30 times and then she did it a few times with me, I'm like, okay, you're ready. I hear later that day, her first day, she set 5 loan appointments, and she just was so good. She just practiced the script and then she felt comfortable with it. She's like, oh, yeah, this is Pepper. Todd's in a couple meetings. How can we help? Oh, who referred you? Oh, Cindy at Goldman. Oh my God, girl, we love her. She is so sweet. What did she say about Todd? Oh, she said Todd was so professional and got it done and was oh, you'll love. Do you know Todd? Oh my God. I've been working for this man. He is so great. Like he's one of the best in the country. Well, let me get you scheduled. How about 2:00 tomorrow? I've got more questions, but let's get you scheduled right. How about 2:00 tomorrow? And I just hear her on the phone, and she would go through credit, and she'd go through income, and then she would set the appointment. And these people were like, every person come in, it's like, hey, before we get started, that Pepper lady, she is awesome. All Pepper did was practice a script 30 times until it flowed naturally. Pepper was actually as good or better than me at setting appointments. So that's an example of operational process. Now, that saves me a few hours a day. When you're getting, okay, so for most loan officers, if you're closing 10, you're getting about 60 leads a month. Each of those leads, by the time you talk to them, you update the realtor, you tell them what to bring, you give them directions to the office, set up the Zoom, all this stuff. It's about 45 minutes per lead. So if you do that math, I'm saving about 50 hours a month just by putting in a process. So I take that 50 hours a month and I've got more time to go get accounts. That's how that works. Okay. So let me give you one more operational process that so many people miss. And this is for, people closing 8, 9, 10, 12 loans a month. Have your loan officer assistant in your loan application the entire time. Explain to them who the person is, man or woman. Go over a team sheet that shows what you do and what they do, so they're crystal clear. You spend 30 minutes with the client doing the professional loan presentation. You do the cash credit income and pick a program, and you go over the LE, or what we used to call the good faith estimate, that shows your monthly payments and cash to close. And then you're out. Your LP2 stays and does everything else. What you'll find is you'll close 10 loans a month. You'll get back involved with about 1 loan a month. You're quarterbacking, right? You're quarterbacking. Oh, they found a property, all that stuff. But you don't need to get involved, because when the client finds a property, that they actually will call your loan officer assistant. They won't even call you. Well, how many hours a month does that save? Well, it could be 10, could be 50. Depends on your production level. But that's an example of leverage. Now, all of this takes us getting out of our reptile brain thinking, no one could do it as good as me. No one could do it as good as me. No, you just have to document it. And I suggest a video documenting exactly what you want them to do. Have them train and practice for 10 hours, and they will be as good or better than you. Sounds crazy. So 3 ingredients to closing 10 plus loans a month. Account acquisition, always. It's got to be automated. It's got to be consistent. The consistency piece is where everyone falls down. You'll do it when you have to, and then you slack. So that's why when we talk about the JOLT process, we do it all for you every day, every single day, 5 days a week. So account acquisition is about consistency and never stopping doing it. Number 2, you have leverage. Leverage is like the crowbar. You're going to have to gain leverage in your business in order for it to grow. And the third thing is operational process. This is a real weak point for almost every loan officer I've ever met. The process is just not trained on. It's not documented. It's not in writing. There's not training videos. People don't know what the process flow is. And so it becomes a spaghetti bowl of process. And then we wonder why we have 3 people on a loan team averaging 5 loans a month when it should be 15, because your process is horrible. So that's an overview of all these things. I hope that makes sense. I spent a little time on this because I'm passionate about loan officers understanding a few things that they got to do in order to double and triple. And that's what we should be focused on. Okay. Have a beautiful week. Please share this with one person. I would deeply appreciate it. Amen. God bless. Go kick some butt, take some names.